So, how do you determine when the market is pretty much going to consolidate for the remainder of the day? What's going on, guys? It's Ricky with TechBet Solutions here with another video, I guess, but I haven't made a video like this in quite some time. I got asked because I normally short the market when I view it to be overbought, and although I did see the market to be a little bit on the overbought side, we never broke structure. And a beginner asked me, well, why didn't you short today versus all the other days? And I thought that, again, I've made videos like this in the past before, but maybe it's time for a quick little update and a nice little reminder for all those that are kind of just getting started. So again, if you like this video, all I encourage you to do is drop a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. With that being said, obviously when it comes down to pattern recognitions, patterns tend to repeat themselves. They don't always have to. There is no pattern. There is no indicator that is 100% certain 100% of the time, right? The whole point of having criteria, maybe depending on the patterns that you like to focus on or the indicators that you put a little bit more weight behind, is just to have conviction behind your trades based off of maybe past experiences of when you didn't, based off of maybe criteria not being met, it didn't go well, right? And that's the whole idea behind this as well, is that, okay, well, when do I know when to not waste my entire day watching the market trade within a range, right? I think today's a really good example because if we zoom in for QQQ, we have a very common resistance range and a very common support range, but it's obviously much easier to see this now that the day is complete. But I have a very simple rule, right? In today's live trading session with my LPP team, I was looking for a break of structure, a break of support really. And within the first hour, markets did end up making new highs on the day. But if we look from the highs that we made on Friday, we didn't break that structure. We were still trading relatively within the same range. I don't really focus on exact price levels. I focus on general ranges. And this was that same resistance range that we had on Friday. Markets pushed up and then they quickly corrected. But then one thing that you notice is that we simply could not really hold below $600 per share for QQQ. At least today we couldn't, right? It would pull back, find a support, just like it did right at the open, and go back to retest 602. It would consolidate, get rejected, go back to retest 599, but we really wouldn't hold below 600. It would return back to previous highs. So don't get me wrong, days like today don't have to be super boring. Days like today can be useful for people that like scalping, right? They can buy the lows, sell the highs when they're able to quickly identify the highs and the lows and that the market's trading within a range. They can open up short at overbought levels and then buy to cover, go long and then sell. They can short and then buy to cover. So again, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of money to be made if you are willing to take those number of trades. But remember, the more trades you take, the more that you open yourself to potential one bad one going south and then possibly giving back everything it is that you made. We're big believers that less is more, right? And all I wanted to see was that there's a specific opportunity that I was trying to focus on today, and that was really HIMS. HIMS is a stock that recently gapped up. I see there to be some downside potential, but I see HIMS to be a stock that, although it is overbought, normally when it really begins to sell off is when the NASDAQ market begins to sell off even more, right? I view NASDAQ to kind of be like an incubator for the overall market. It provides like an environment or like a condition for the rest of tech. Although HIMS is not necessarily a tech company, it likes to trade like one. It definitely likes to trade at a multiple of one, right? But nonetheless, very simple. I focus on the NASDAQ market to get a better understanding because if it's very bullish, and that's the sentiment for the day, meaning that it's making higher highs and higher lows, when it's incredibly bullish on the day, it's going to help everything else that's part of NASDAQ or the S&P 500 be bullish as well. The overall environment is conditioned for, to go long. But there's days where markets might be bearish and they begin to break support. They form lower lows and lower highs, and there's continuation into the downside. And then that provides an environment that makes more sense to possibly short, right? Therefore, that would be exactly what I would want in the sense of I would want NASDAQ market to sell off to make my short on HIMS more seamless. I didn't want to fight against the trend. And I knew that if the NASDAQ market continued to consolidate or even pushed up higher, it gave HIMS the environment to also hold, consolidate, or even push up to new highs. And that's essentially what it did. It did sell off kind of like right at the open, but it went back to retest previous highs and kind of just traded within the range. For the most of big tech, it did something very similar, but I think it's important to note that, again, within the first 30 minutes to the first hour, you can kind of decide based off of the stocks that you like to focus on. Ask yourself, when does it normally show signs of continuation? That is the biggest indicator of showing signs of progress, either on the upside or on the downside, because there are many times like today that markets opened up and ended in the green, 1.12%. But if you actually look at where we opened at versus where we closed at, there was no change. From where we opened to where we closed, it was a relatively flat day, not just intraday with all this consolidation, but from the open to close. The reason it ended green was because of where we closed at on Friday versus where we closed at today. That was the gap up. That's great for those that carried a position over the weekend. But as many of you guys know, that's not something that I like to do. I think carrying positions over the weekend come at a greater form of risk, especially during uncertain times like with what's going on right now. So because of that, again, I didn't have the privilege of being up right at market open. But I also didn't want to ignore the idea that markets couldn't push up higher. A great reminder for beginners. The more you focus on criteria-based trades, it's not the more perfect you're going to be, because that's definitely not the case. But hopefully, the less impulsive trades you choose to take just because you can versus when you actually should. When it comes down to this, there was just simply no continuation on the downside. It never broke support. It established a support very early on and never broke that structure. It also didn't make new highs, but it definitely didn't break support. So because of that, as NASDAQ market held itself at this overbought range but consolidated, there was no break of structure and there was no continuation onto the downside. And that is why I decided to not take a short today, because overall market sentiment did not support the idea of a short. How many times have you taken a trade where as soon as you get in, overall markets are selling off, overall sentiment is negative, and it seems like so seamless on how you're making money, right? Direction is in your favor, sentiment is in your favor, price action is in your favor, everything. It was so effortless. Or sometimes maybe you go long, right? Markets are incredibly bullish and just everything is pushing markets higher, price action is in your favor, direction is favorable, everything, right? It simply makes the trade feel more effortless. Again, those are the ideal trades to look out for. But what are the key components of those trades? Progress, continuation, showing that it's actively, not consolidating, but actively making higher highs and higher lows. Or if I'm trying to short, that it's actively making lower lows and lower highs, not just kind of trading in range. Don't get me wrong. When markets trade in range, like I said before, there's always money to be made in any market. But simply, the more that it consolidates, the less that it really identifies a clear sense of direction, therefore making it more complicated to actually understand if you should be going long or short. But most importantly, if you're a beginner, we would never recommend for you to go short, as technically speaking, when shorting, it just comes at a greater form of risk. But again, we talk about these concepts and a lot more in structure in our LPP lesson library. Again, I have over 5,000 free videos here on YouTube. I've been uploading videos since late 2015. But if you're someone that prefers structure and you also want to watch me trade live, I trade live every morning with my LPP team. It's all inclusive. It's a one-time payment, lifetime access, and it's the second link in the description down below. And by all inclusive, I mean that it offers the A to Z video lesson library, the daily live trading session, and the private group chat. I offer nothing else. This is the only service that I offer. Like I said, it's a one-time payment, lifetime access. If you want to work with me closer, that's literally the only thing that I offer. So if you want to check it out, second link down below, you can sign up today and start watching me trade live as soon as tomorrow. I appreciate you guys' time. I hope that earned your thumbs up. Please consider subscribing. And like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note. Take care, team.